Everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and here we are with week 7 predictions. Last week it was a horrible week, not only for me but for a lot of betting people in the world of football. I went 6-8 in predictions. You know, it's the worst week I've had in predictions by far this year. I think the previous worst was like a 9-win week or whatever. Yeah, we won 6 games last week. This week we have 4 more teams on a bye. Let me try to think of those teams real quick. The Steelers, so the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Carolina Panthers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all on a bye week. We have a packed Sunday with some pretty good action, and it starts off with the Miami Dolphins going up against the Buffalo Bills, an AFC East rivalry. I am going to go with the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be my lock of the week right here as well. Not even going to get cute with it like I tried to last week. Like, oh yeah, the Chargers are going to take care of a duck hunter named Devlin Hodges. Yeah, I'm not even going to get cute with it. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Buffalo Bills to win. They do a few things well. They run the football well. They play good defense, and they put Josh Allen in high percentage situations. I think this week will be no different. They're coming off a bye week. The Dolphins almost won their first game of the year, but a classic, we're trying to tank, but we're also trying to look competitive. I think the Dolphins will play well, but I think Buffalo wins by at least 10. That's just my gut feeling. Jaguars at Bengals. Gardner Minshew and company, you know, they have not been looking so hot, and the Bengals are the only 0-6 team in football. But I think Jacksonville is going to win this football game right here. Jacksonville has a couple of great things going for them. The Bengals secondary is not great, so look for the receiving game to be a little bit better this week. You know, you're not facing Marshawn Lattimore and the crew. You know, you're facing a Bengals defense which has a couple of good playmakers in it. You know, Jesse Bates is no scrub, and William Jackson's a pretty good young corner in this league. But overall, their pass defense isn't great. I expect Gardner Minshew to open things up a little bit more this week with his boy DJ Chark and even D.D. Westbrook. And I think Leonard Fournette has a pretty solid week running the football again, so I'll pick Jacksonville to win. Cincinnati is a pretty solid offensive team. They're also a little bit limited in what they can do. I just think Jacksonville wins despite no longer having Jalen Ramsey. Not that it mattered the last few weeks anyway, because he had a mysterious back injury. Vikings at Lions. So the Lions have to go back home after Monday night's disastrous game with officiating and shortcomings offensively, and they have to go home and regroup against Minnesota, who just played arguably their best game, you know, overall. Like, they did a good job against Philly. Even though Carson Wentz did play pretty well, they did a good job, bend but don't break. They did some great things defensively as well. And offensively, man, they just opened it up. I mean, Stephon Diggs had 3 touchdowns on 7 catches. Just a great game for Kirk Cousins. And right here, I mean, you have the battle of 2 quarterbacks who are more talented than where they stand in the quarterback rankings. Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins, they're both pretty good quarterbacks, but they're both pretty average in terms of like the quarterback scale. And both of them have had pretty good defenses this year. They both have a running game. I think the Vikings are better than Detroit. However, I'm going to go with Detroit. I think Detroit will get the home win. I don't think it'll be a case of like makeup calls or anything. The Vikings should win this game on paper. They're very talented, but I think Detroit just comes out and does enough to edge the Vikings at home, basically trying to survive in the loaded NFC North. Speaking of the NFC North, I got my Green Bay Packers right here at home. They're going to be facing the Oakland Raiders coming off a bye week. Now, the interesting thing about bye weeks is sometimes they come at the right time, other times they come at the wrong time. For a team like Oakland, they went into London and they upset the Chicago Bears and then immediately had to go on a bye week. So yeah, they were able to travel back to the States, get well rested, but did their momentum stop? Because they're coming off the biggest win of their season against the team that they traded Khalil Mack to, and the whole narrative about a revenge game. Did Oakland get a bye week at the wrong time of the season? Whereas Green Bay is coming off an ugly win against Detroit, but a win nonetheless, and a key win in the division to go 3-0. Regardless of what happens here for Green Bay, they're going to be in first place basically no matter what happens this weekend. But Green Bay will most likely be without their starting 3 receivers. I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling may have a chance to play. Geronimo's been upgraded to questionable, but I don't think he's going to play. That's just my gut feeling. Even if he does, I don't think he'll make that much of a difference. I am going to be picking Green Bay to win, but watch out for this Oakland team. This is not going to be a walk in the park, and this is a definition of a trap game. I mean, Oakland's coming off a bye. I don't know what their momentum is going to be heading into this game, but they've been running the football well. They're a top 10 rushing offense with a rookie running back. Their offensive line has played well, so we'll see if my guys Za'Darius and Preston Smith will continue to eat. Also for Oakland, they just got Zay Jones, the wide receiver. It looks like Tyrell Williams will not be playing, so we'll see what John Gruden and company have up their sleeves. We should win on paper. Green Bay should win this game on paper, but games just aren't quite determined on paper. Rams at Falcons. I'm going to go ahead and just give this one to the Rams. I mean, the Falcons basically are quitting on the coach. That's not really what's happening here, but I mean, you could kind of get that feel just watching them play. I mean, no one seems to be bought in. The offense is doing, the best job they could possibly do to go out there and get as many yards as they can and score as many points as they can. But for the Los Angeles Rams, they're most likely going to be getting Todd Gurley back. It looks like Jalen Ramsey might be on track to play this weekend against Julio, a matchup that we've never seen before, Jalen Ramsey versus Julio. So we really can't say who's better because we haven't seen the matchup. I think Julio gets the edge just simply because he's a wide receiver and the rules are more implemented for wide receivers. But we'll see what Jalen Ramsey can do against arguably the best receiver in football. Todd Gurley coming back. We'll see if it gets the run game going. They also made a trade for Kenny Young. We'll see if he gets to play. He might start off on special teams first. And then Austin Corbett, plug and play him at left guard. We'll see if he's an improvement over Jonathan Luteboom, who is going to be out for some time. For Atlanta, it's really hard. Living here in Georgia, it's really hard seeing the Falcons just underperform, underachieve. And I think my friend Aaron said it best. I was on a little, just hanging out with him or whatever. Hey, he said that, this team is too talented to be losing to teams like Arizona. And I know what he was trying to say. He wasn't really discrediting Arizona. It was him just basically saying, we're too good to be losing to teams like this. Last year we would have beat them by 17. And here we are losing games to them this year. It's tough. It's a tough time to be a Falcons fan. Texans at Colts. The Colts in a similar situation as Oakland. They're coming off a bye where they were rolling. I mean, they had beaten the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, whereas the Houston Texans, no days off right now. They beat Kansas City in their building. So, two teams that have cracked the code on Kansas City. The only two teams to have beaten Kansas City this season, the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. I think I'm going to lean towards the Indianapolis Colts. Deshaun Watson played a pretty solid game, a pretty good game against Houston, against Kansas City. I talked about how he was a big game quarterback, and this is a big game going up against the Colts, but they are coming off a bye week. And, this is a team that wants to run the football, put Brissett in high percentage situations. I mean, we'll see. The offensive line has been really good the last 2 weeks for Houston, not allowing a sack. If that's what it takes, so be it. I think Deshaun Watson might be playing pretty well. This is a very exciting game, and a game that I would stay away from just in terms of betting on the game. But let's get into this game. 49ers at Redskins. No upsets here. I think I'm just going to play it safe and say that the 49ers will beat the Redskins. This is a trap game, though, in a sense that, like the Redskins, they don't have anything to lose. They're playing with an interim head coach. They don't have anything to lose. But the 49ers are just rolling right now, and they're going to probably make light work of them. That's just the way I see it. Here we go right here, though. Cardinals at Giants, a very interesting game. Saquon's coming back. I think Evan Ingram's coming back. Sterling Shepard, I think, is going to miss this game. Patrick Peterson has been activated after coming off a 6-game suspension. I think I'm going to roll with the G-Men. I think I'm going to roll with the New York Giants. They should win this game going up against the Arizona Cardinals. It'll be very interesting, though. Kyler Murray versus Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones plays better than Kyler Murray, you know what the narrative's going to be. He's better. If Kyler plays better than Daniel, the narrative will be, well, Kyler was the number one pick for a reason. He should have played better. Whatever. It's a lose-lose situation for both these rookie quarterbacks. They can come out and impress, but the narrative will always change. I am rooting for the Cardinals to do some good things out there, but I'm also rooting for Daniel Jones to do some good things out there. With Saquon coming back, the first full game of Saquon with Daniel Jones. Can't wait to see what happens there. Chargers at Titans. This is a weird game right here. Ryan Tannehill getting the start from Marcus Mariota, who is now being relegated to the bench. Whereas Tampa Bay doesn't quite have that luxury with Jameis Winston. Meanwhile, the Chargers are coming off their most embarrassing loss of the year. The Titans are at home. They haven't won a game at home this year. The Chargers, they don't really have home field advantage. I don't think they know what that is. I don't know who to pick. I would just stay away from this game altogether. I think I'm going to take Tennessee to win. Like I said, I'd stay away from this game altogether, but I just have a feeling Tennessee might do enough to get by in the win. Saints at Bears. Chicago's at home. Mitchell Trubisky, I think, might not play, which, might not be the worst thing in the world because, I don't think Mitchell Trubisky has proven anything this year. Just gonna keep it real. But on the other side, you have Teddy Bridgewater, no Alvin Kamara, no Jared Cook. It's going to be Latavius Murray and who is their backup tight end? I think it's Josh Hill. Yeah, that's who's going to be filling in for New Orleans. And I think Sean Payton will find a way to get those guys going. I do think the Saints should win, so I think I'm going to pick the Saints to win. They have been very resilient this year. This could easily be a game that the Saints lose, but I feel like, just watching how they played on the road against Seattle, I think they'll need to have that kind of performance to beat the Chicago Bears. The Bears are going to be missing Akeem Hicks on defense and Kyle Long on offense. Those are two weaknesses that I think Sean Payton can exploit. Ravens at Seahawks. I mean, you really can't consider this an upset, but this is going to be my upset of the week. I'll take Baltimore to beat Seattle. I think it's going to come down to time of possession, and it's going to come down to the run defense. Seattle's run defense hasn't quite been that good this year. I mean, we saw Nick Chubb still was able to have a great game despite the Cleveland Browns losing last week. I think Baltimore just has the right recipe, and I think they're a good matchup against Seattle. Bobby Wagner, he's been playing well, but he hasn't quite been Bobby Wagner this year. And, this is the Earl Thomas revenge game. Earl Thomas is probably going to have a big impact on this game. He might get up for this game, but we've all been saying that about Khalil Mack when they went to London to face Oakland, and it didn't quite work out that way. But Earl Thomas returns to home, at least his NFL home. But I will be taking Baltimore in the upset. I think they'll put Lamar Jackson in situations to succeed. I think they'll be able to run the football just fine. If you can keep Russell Wilson on the sideline, you can certainly beat him because, in my opinion, I don't think there's a quarterback playing better than Russell Wilson right now. And by running the football and converting third downs and continuing to utilize all of your talent, you do what you got to do. And for Seattle, they try to do the same things as well, but I think Baltimore will try to mix things up defensively to throw Seattle off their game. This is a big game for Baltimore against a legit opponent in Seattle, and this is a big game for Seattle. Going up against Baltimore, a team that can be very streaky or can be very disappointing, I'll go with Baltimore with the win. Eagles at Cowboys. The only advantage is that this game is in Dallas. I don't really know if that's truly an advantage or not because we've seen teams go into Dallas and pretty much do what they want to do. Now, both teams have significant injuries heading into this matchup. Both teams have people that are questionable, people that are returning. It's just a very interesting game. Two teams that are 3-3, looking at mediocrity right now. The Eagles have been pretty disappointing this year, haven't quite lived up to the billing of a Super Bowl contender, whereas Dallas, for some people, have been disappointing. For others, pretty much what we expected to see. I think I'm going to pull the trigger and say Philadelphia wins. This is a very tough game to predict. These types of rivalry games like Packers, Bears, Eagles, Cowboys, like they're tough to predict. You know, you never really know where to go in these high intensity rivalry games. You just don't know what direction to go in. I think I'm gonna go with Philadelphia, but Dallas might just wake up and get up for this game and stomp them out. I mean, I don't know, but I think I'll go with Philadelphia. Patriots at Jets. I mean, Sam Darnold's back for the Jets. Hooray! I mean, that's cool. The Patriots defense, the big complaint that we've had is they haven't faced anyone, that's, opposed, an offensive threat or anything, except for Pittsburgh in week 1. So, yeah, that could be, like a big advantage. I don't know. I'm confused. It's an advantage, of course, that they've played nobody, but it could be a disadvantage because they played the Jets already this year, and it was with Luke Falk. They haven't seen the Jets with Sam Darnold, with the playbook opened up, and it might stun the Patriots in the first half. Like, I could see a scenario where the Jets go into halftime with a lead, and maybe the Jets play the best first half of football you've ever seen against the Patriots this year, but then New England just suffocates this team in the end, because literally the biggest weakness for any team is going to halftime, because Belichick just knows what he's doing when it comes to these adjustments. So with that being said, I will go with the New England Patriots, but this is going to be a very entertaining game, let me tell you. So these are my predictions for the week. Of course, the Chiefs took care of business against the Broncos. By the way, that Patrick Mahomes injury is just very sad. It sucks to see, because my team, the Packers, were supposed to be playing Patrick Mahomes next week on Sunday Night Football. I don't think that game will get flexed. I think it's a little too late for the game to get flexed anyway, because you're supposed to have like a 2 to 4 week grace period, and when a game can get flexed. I think it may be a 4-week period. I don't really know how that works, but I'm sorry. There's a lot of rules that I don't know about, or I totally don't think about. But I do have the Buffalo Bills winning, the Jacksonville Jaguars winning, the Detroit Lions winning, my Green Bay Packers winning, the LA Rams winning, the Indianapolis Colts winning, the San Francisco 49ers winning, the New York Giants winning, the Tennessee Titans winning, the New Orleans Saints winning, the Baltimore Ravens winning, the Philadelphia Eagles winning, and the New England Patriots winning. So hopefully my week will go well, and hopefully you guys enjoy your Week 7 week. It's going to be a hell of a week. Remember, we're almost halfway through the season. Let's keep that in mind. It has been a hell of a season. Hopefully I do good on predictions this week. My goal is to get at least 9 games right. We started off 1-0 with the Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't make a video on it, but on my social media I did post that I had Kansas City winning. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and peace out. Good luck to all your teams.